This video will help you do exponents and scientific notation. So as we discussed in the last two videos, we have the 4 rules of exponents that are learned in this lesson. So we're going to look at the third rule of exponents, which is the quotient rule for exponents. So in this example here, we want to do negative 26z to the 11th, and we want to divide that by 2z to the 7th. So all we're doing here is we're dividing exponential expressions. One thing to point out here is that we do have numbers involved, so we're just going to divide the numbers as they are. So we're going to divide the negative 26 and 2. So negative 26 divided by 2, that gives me negative 13. And then we're going to divide anything that has a similar base. So if we look at this, we have a z in the top and a z in the bottom. So we're going to divide the z to the 11th by z to the 7th. When I divide with a similar base, which is z, all I do is subtract the exponents. So 11 minus 7 becomes 4. And I keep my base of z. So when I divide negative 26z to the 11th by 2z to the 7th, I get a solution of negative 13z to the 4th. So the next example I want to look at is 49a to the 3rd bc to the 14th. And I want to divide that all by negative 7a b c to the 8th. Again, all we're going to do here is we're going to divide similar bases. But before we actually divide the similar bases, let's divide the numbers out. Remember, these are just numbers. So I'm going to divide the 49 and the negative 7. 49 divided by negative 7 gives me negative 7. Again, we're looking for stuff with similar bases here. So I see an a to the 3rd in the top, and I see an a in the bottom. Those are both similar bases. So I'm going to divide those two. When I divide similar bases, all I do is subtract the exponents. So the a in the denominator technically has an exponent of 1. It's just not written. So 3 minus 1 is 2. But we keep that base of a. So I have a squared. All right, so I'm going to try to combine something else if I can. So if you notice here, we also have bases of b. We have a b in the top and a b in the bottom. So we're going to divide those out. Remember, if there's no exponent written, there's technically a 1 there. So 1 minus 1 becomes 0. And we keep that base of b. So I have b to the 0 power. And finish off combining what we can here. I have a c in the top and a c in the bottom. So I'm going to divide c to the 14th by c to the 8th. Because they have similar bases, all I'm going to do is subtract the exponents. So 14 minus 8 becomes 6. And it keeps that base of c. So c to the 6th. But please don't forget the other properties that we had already discussed. Any value raised to the 0 power is 1, and only b is raised to the 0 power. So that becomes a 1. So I have negative 7a squared times 1 times c to the 6th. But really, when I look at this, anything times 1 doesn't make any difference. So my final answer when I divide these out is -7 a squared c to the 6th.